The funeral of the assassinated right-wing influencer Charlie Kirk is to take place in Arizona Sunday afternoon. President Donald Trump is expected to attend the service. Kirk's death has raised the temperature of the already heated political rhetoric in the United States.
It was here, on a university campus in Utah, where this man, Charlie Kirk, was shot dead.
Get a picture, Charlie.
The 31-year-old activist was a rising star of the Republican right, credited with helping Donald Trump get re-elected president, and known for his controversial and forthright face-to-face debates.
By no moral standard is it ever okay to be able to interfere with the life of another because your life might be minorly disrupted.
Here for you tonight.
His politics often strayed from the conservative to the conspiratorial, as well as being anti-abortion, anti-LGBTQ, and advocating that women should submit to their husbands. He promoted the racist and false Great Replacement theory that hypothesizes white populations are being usurped.
For far too many.
His assassination has turned up the political temperature to boiling point. Trump and his acolytes have blamed the, quote, radical left for Kirk's assassination. And Vice President J.D. Vance escorted his body back to Arizona on Air Force Two. Former President Barack Obama called his killing a tragedy and, like many others, has warned of the consequences of politicizing acts of violence. On the issue of firearms, Kirk said, "It's worth it to have a cost of, unfortunately, some gun deaths every single year so that we can have the Second Amendment." Prophetic words from the man whose death has divided America.
Sean Westwood is director of the Polarization Research Lab. First of all, I'd like to get your take on what Trump is calling the radical left. Any clarification on who he's actually referring to there?
It really is an imagined enemy. I think the tragedy of Charlie Kirk's assassination has been followed by a tragedy of blame, escalation, inflammation of tensions. I think despite what Donald Trump says, there is no trans terror cell. There is no violent conspiracy from Democrats. This was an isolated incident. Unfortunately, the president has effectively convinced much of this country and his own party that there is actually a radical left, that it is conspiring against Republicans, and that it is worth sacrificing our civil liberties in order to stop that phantom threat.
Now, the House of Representatives has approved a Charlie Kirk resolution condemning the murder and praising Kirk. The Congressional Black Caucus said the resolution was not about healing, but rather an attempt to legitimize Kirk's worldview that many consider racist. What's your take on that?
I think it's probably correct that this resolution will serve to rehabilitate Kirk's reputation. However, even despite the fact that he had many controversial and abhorrent positions, there's nothing to justify his assassination. And the Democrats, by objecting to the resolution, I think are only feeding into conspiracy theories and furthering the partisan divide. So they should have potentially swallowed their pride and probably supported the resolution to lower the temperature in the country.
So what sort of line do you think the Democrats should be walking to lower the temperature, as you put it?
I think that the elected officials in the Democratic Party are doing a relatively good job. Bernie Sanders had an incredibly eloquent speech championing the role of debate. But unfortunately, the fringes of the party, and especially on social media, we find radical members of the Democrats taking gleeful shots at Kirk's murder. I think the best thing that could happen here is elites pushing back against their fringe members, pushing back against social media, and setting a high moral standard, doing what Michelle Obama advised, going high. There's still a chance to do that. There's still a chance to come together, but it's getting harder and harder as the days go by.
Well, Kirk's wife, Erica, is due to also give a speech tomorrow. She's already released a video that many on social media criticize for being politically charged and threatening. Do you believe she can continue his legacy like she has vowed?
We'll try. It isn't clear that she's going to be a direct replacement in the American culture. I think that that's probably going to fall onto Ben Shapiro or Matt Walsh, other individuals who are very famous for advocating in the same kind of extremist language as Mr. Kirk. I think she'll coalesce the opposition. I think she'll pull together a large group of Americans, but the future likely rests in others taking up Kirk's mantle.
And do you have any hope of Republicans trying to ease tensions? Trump and JD Vance will be probably giving speeches too.
I expect that Trump is going to demand retribution. He's going to attack trans Americans. He's going to use the tragedy to justify his organized pushback against his enemies. He's going to take a flamethrower to a public already on edge. The slate of speakers that they have going at this event are not going to lower the temperature. They have not included the rational voices that have tried to calm the nation from the right. It's going to be a pageantry of anger and retribution.
Yeah, that sounds unfortunate. Thank you very much for your input. Sean Westwood, Director of the Polarization Research Lab.
Thank you.